Hello, my name is Troy Grogan, and this is a video on how to make a sample-based trap or hip-hop type beat. So, for what has moved me to make this video, I am someone who's personally very heavily into music making and music production, as these are passions of mine. And in particular, sample-based music is my favorite type of music, and is basically the basis for what my favorite music genre of all time is, which is hip hop. Which, yeah. So this video is aimed at targeting the audience of anyone trying to get into music making, whether that's just like making a beat or full fleshed out songs. So for the universal restraints of this how-to video, the one common outlier is that whatever music thing you make, it has to be from a sample. Self-explanatory. Now, how you manipulate a sample or the sounds you pick to complement the sample is totally up to you, as that is subjective. It's all tastes. Like, we like different things. You get it. So, a quick FAQ before getting into the beat making. What is sampling? Sampling is the act of taking a sound or a song and completely manipulating it and making it something new. So for what equipment, next question. What equipment do I need to do what you're doing? So while in this particular video, I'm using a machine called the MPC 2000 XL. While this machine is very niche, however, and as it's an old drum machine and sampler, for today, computers are the common practice. And in fact, it would be really hard to find yourself not using a computer when making music. With a computer, you get speakers built in, and you can download software known as a digital audio workstation, or DAW for short, DAW. This software can come for free and are programs designed to make music in, and is how all music is created today. Digital audio workstations are also available on phones too, with one of the most popular examples being GarageBand. While in this video, I'm making a beat on MPC, the general ideas and steps are still the same. So yeah, same ideas, same process, they'll transfer over. So how would I even obtain a sample to even manipulate? So we live in an era of information overload, with media so accessible to obtain nowadays. You can get a sample from anywhere like YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, or a meme. Just basically anywhere on the internet that has audio. One of the easiest ways of doing this is by screen recording any audio you want on your phone and then transporting the audio file to your computer. You can also sample physical mediums like CDs or vinyls. But the whole goal is to just import the audio you want to manipulate into the digital audio workstation, or in my case, the MPC. Just anything you're going to manipulate the audio with, you want to transfer that audio over to it. So, last question. How do I obtain drum, bass sounds, or any virtual instruments for that matter? So kind of building off the last question, there exist many ways of getting sounds for free with no hassle. One of the easiest ways to get drums is to look up free drum kits on Google, or to go to r/drumkits on Reddit, which is where users have ripped the individual drum sounds from their songs, their favorite songs or artists, and then release these sounds as free downloads. These drum kits have individual snares, kicks, hi-hats, or an 808, which is a particular bass sound most commonly found in hip-hop tracks. So you can also get virtual instruments though, like a virtual piano, synth bass, or horns, by using what is called music plugins. So these plugins is basically just software that works with your DAW, your digital audio workstation, and can act as a virtual instrument or other things related to audio, like a compressor, limiter, reverb, or EQ. This stuff is for mixing the audio, however, which is way out of depth for these instructions. But the point is that plugins are not limited to just instruments. All right, now to the how-to. All Alright, so we're in the beat making portion of the video now. So this is just going to be a list of steps. So the very first step is to find a sample. And in this scenario, as you can probably hear, I picked Human Nature. Pretty iconic. Very hard to flip. This was a lot. But anyways, so once that's done, step 2 would be to pick a portion from the song that you want to choose where you're gonna chop from and like get your individual portions from. And then step 3, I'd say, would be to manipulate the sample. So as you see here, you can manipulate it by speeding up or slowing down the pitch. And then step 4 would be to slice or chop the sample. And what this means is to find certain portions from the song you like and to basically cut the sound. You want to cut the sound in a particular way so that it's loopable. So a loop is music that will infinitely go back into each other. This means that when the portion of music ends, when the same piece starts again, it sounds like it makes sense as the end of the loop led to the beginning of the loop again. As you can kind of hear, it's going back into it. The sound is played, you can loop it. And with a loop, in order to get it to sound perfectly right, sometimes you have to get where the chop starts to be perfect. And that can make and break it. As you can see there, the waveform, you want it to be on the start of the beat so that it's all in time. So this is step 4. Very important step, long step. Yeah, here I'm just making sure it starts. And then step 5 would be to go through all the slicing of the portion you picked from the song and to see if you personally like it. So what that step basically means is just to reiterate what the choices you made and to see if that's really what you wanted to make. And then step 6, what's happening here is that I'm going through the portion. So step 6 is to go through the portion and then try and plan how you can arrange the different slices of the sample differently so that the sample can become something new. So right now I'm just hearing it, trying to hear each individual piece and seeing how they can be combined in a different order so that it can become a new song. So that led to me wanting to lower the pitch down, which is, I guess, going back to step 2. So here I'm doing that same step 6 of trying to plan how it's going to be arranged. And just hearing the chops that I did to see if it makes sense. So once you find everything that you want, this isn't a step, but for this machine in particular, is that it can run out of memory fast and it's really annoying. So once you're all done and you try and assign it to all the pads, the individual chops, it runs out of memory it's annoying. It's disheartening because you spend all this time doing it and then you find out some stuff makes it through and some doesn't. So what's going to happen right now is that the last chops I did didn't make it, except that was all the memory had to hold. And then with this machine too, there's an overlap the overlap of the assigning of the pads means that like it'll overlap each other when you re-hit it, but you gotta put it in the mono so it doesn't overlap. So step 7 is once you have your slices picked out, the next step would be to link the tempo of the sample to the thing you're using to make the music. So of course my case is the MPC, but same case with the DAW. And you just want to match the tempos so that it sounds right. And for me, I use the metronome app on my phone. So step 8, once the tempo's found out, record the slices rearranged in order to make a new loop. And it could be a 4 to 8 or 16 bar loop. Well, a bar of music is a grouping of 4 counts. So the beat, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 counts per bar, and then a bar is just the grouping of those 4 counts. So a 4-bar loop is 4 groupings of 4 counts all put together. For my case, I made a 16-bar loop. And by the way,
Bringing Dead.
oh my god. Linking the tempo, it's really hard. It's really hard. It took so long to get, but it'll get there. Trust the process. So once the bass arrangement, the bass groove is figured out, step 9 would be to start adding the other elements that complete a song. So that would be bass and drums basically. So in this scenario, I'm using 808, and then we have a snare, and then we have a hi-hat. And then step 10, I guess, would be to add the snare to the song. So for when recording the drums, a constant general rule for how drums work is that the snare is placed down in the middle of each bar. So for this case, I'm placing the snare on count 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then step 10 would be to add the bass to the song. So for bass, you can do so much, of course, but one thing that definitely needs to be right is that the bass is in the same key of the song. Here I'm trying to find the root note, which is like the main note the whole song is based off of. And another good rule is to have more than one bass note, so that the song can have some sense of progression. Objectively though, it doesn't really matter. You could arrange your bass however you want, but a good rule is to make sure it's in tune with everything else. Yep, and then here I'm recording the bass line. I will say, I don't know if it's in tune or not, but I just did it by ear, so it might be like a little, like a semitone off, but it's close enough. And then step 11 would be to add the hi-hats, but it's basically self-explanatory. Once the bass and drums are added, step 12 would, well, you're basically done. This step is like extra, but step 12 would be to just arrange the song basically. So just choose when to take elements out and reintroduce them so that there's different sections of the whole song. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching.